everyone, it's Skyee here and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new. So today we're going to be doing part 4 of our August color along. This should be the last part, so I'm really excited to get this finished. I'm running a little bit behind on this. I was hoping to get this recorded before my niece was here for the weekend, but I ended up running into a couple problems work-wise, so I had some stuff take quite a bit longer than I expected it to, so I didn't have time to film before she got here. And she's a little bit of a handful, so I couldn't film while she was here. So I'm kind of filming right before going to bed, so the light is not optimal, so I have my ring light on. I'm hoping that doesn't create a problem. I think it might create a little bit of a glare since we're working with watercolors, but it shouldn't be too bad, hopefully. So we've been working in Kerby Rosanes' Mythomorphia, and we've been doing the Dryad page. This is what we've got done so far, so we really don't have too much left. I don't expect this to take too long at all. I think for the tree bits though, I really like the colors we went with, but I feel like it's kind of flat. It doesn't stand out a whole lot. I like the shadows for the most part, but I think we're going to go in with a shadow and highlight color in the Prismas just to make it stand out a little bit. Other than that, I'm not really sure. I kind of want to stick to the idea of doing kind of like red, oranges, and yellows for the leaves. I'm not too sure about the berries yet. I'm thinking about leaving those white. Same with the fairies. I think I mentioned that last time. So that's kind of my plan for now. We'll kind of see what happens though. So I'm just going to grab a clip here and I'm going to clip the other side of the book pages together. That way it adds a little bit more weight and they won't be kind of trying to close. I've got my paper here that I use to clean off my water brushes. I've got my water brushes, and then I also have my swatch book and my Derwent Inktense pencils, which is what we're going to be using. So these are the pencils we've used so far. I like to keep them in a box. My work in progress box is what I call it. That way I can pull a lot of colors that we've already used throughout the page into new ones, even if we're making new color combinations. If it has similar colors from previous colored areas, it kind of ties in together a little bit more, I find. So I'm mostly after the greens here. So I'm going to pull out all the greens that we've been working with. The rest, oh, that one's green. This one, I don't think is green. No, that's like, well, no. Well, actually, maybe. Yeah, willow. Okay. And then I do kind of want one of the browns for sure, I think. I'm going to keep the baked earth in here because that's kind of more of an orangey tone. So we might be able to use that with the leaves. Let's see, I think saddle brown maybe as like a brown accent for some of the leaves and mushrooms and maybe ferns and whatnot. I don't know if we'll be using all of those, but I've got those out. And then I do want kind of some brighter colors. So I'm going to grab, not like too bright, well, maybe. I do kind of like the brightness of the greens and stuff, so it might be nice to have some brighter colors as well for like the accent areas. I know I want sienna gold for sure. So let's maybe grab that and the sherbet lemon. If the sherbet lemon ends up being a little bit too bright, we can always dull it down with the sienna gold. And then I definitely want the mid vermilion and the tangerine, so I'll grab those out. And then let's see, for reds, I think I'm going to grab the scarlet pink and the chili red. I think those will be good. So I'm going to set these colors aside for now because I want to go through and color kind of like the grassy bits in here first and then mushrooms. But we're starting up here first. So that'll be leaves actually. Okay, so maybe we will grab these colors out for now then. I think I'm going to start in with the chili red. I'm maybe going to sharpen this. It's a little bit dull. Alright, that's better. And I'm going to concentrate this more on like the tips of the leaves. So we'll have them starting off dark and then fading out light. I'm just going to kind of randomly choose some leaves because I want them kind of different colored. Kind of same things with these leaves around her body here. Just going to kind of randomly pick some out. I think for the reds, I'm going to do leaves that are kind of more, look like they're almost more towards the back. Just because the red is going to be kind of like the darkest color that we're using. So that'll kind of help act as a shadow as well. Just going to select a few for now, and then we can always go back in and add more later if we think it needs it. These two leaves here, I think I'm going to do these red just because I kind of colored over them quite a bit with the watercolor. So I think it'll be less noticeable with the red. The leaves that go kind of over the brown here, I don't want those to be too red, and I'm actually seeing that this was probably supposed to be bark, maybe. I don't know. I'm going to do that red. I think we can safely do, yeah, around here. So let's do all of these leaves and then we'll do the bottom part later on. Don't mind the dog. He seems to think that everywhere around the house is his territory, including the neighbors' yards. So when the neighbors get home, he gets a little bit territorial. Okay, I think that's probably good there. And I think, let's see, let's go in with the mid vermilion. So this is kind of like our orange. And I'm not necessarily going to keep it to red on red, orange on orange. I think some of the red ones will have more yellow to them. That kind of thing. So they're not all just one color, if that makes sense. Okay, that's probably good there. And then let's see, the Sienna Gold is our other dark color. So I'm going to bring this in just kind of randomly as well, mostly on the leaves that are kind of left over, but I'm going to bring this in on some of the red leaves as well. And you don't have to follow exactly what I'm doing here. As long as you're just kind of making your colors sporadic and all over the place, you'll get relatively the same effect. I'm slightly tired, so I'm hoping I make good color choices. It has been a long weekend, and I go back to work tomorrow, so I'm not excited about that. I had 5 days off, but with having 2 kiddos, it felt like 2 days off. All right, I like how this is looking already. So let's go in with our Scarlet Pink. I don't think I'm going to use a whole lot of this color because it is a very bright red. So I'm just going to pick out a few leaves. I'm going to stick to leaves that I put the red as like the deeper color on. I'm just going to pick a few of them out and color them in. Ooh, that's probably good there. And then same thing here. I'm going to pick some of the leaves that are kind of like a little bit more tucked in or that are a little bit smaller. Any leaves that I've kind of went over too much with watercolor are great leaves to color in with this color because it'll mask it quite a bit. All right, next I'm going to go in with the Tangerine. This one I will stick to leaves that I based, well, that I gave a darker shadow in either the red or the orange. Any that I kind of shadowed with the yellow color, I'm going to try and stay away from. I think up here we mostly want it to be orange so the yellow leaves don't tie into the background too much. And it actually is really hard to tell the difference between the orange and the yellow in this area. So just kind of winging it. I think I do want a lot more yellow leaves though, just because it'll kind of tie in with the top and balance the page out a little bit. Okay, and the rest of them I'm going to go in with the Sherbet Lemon and color those in. All right. So the berries I think are gonna stay white. So we can go ahead and start activating the leaves. So I'm gonna grab my smallest water brush here, and I have kind of a cheap set of water brushes, so they do leak a little bit when I first start using them. As I've mentioned in the previous video, so I'm just gonna make sure that it's not super saturated. And I'm gonna come in on the tips where it's lighter and kind of pull the color back into the branches a little ways. Lots and lots of cleaning the brush off. I'm fine going from a more yellow leaf to one that's red without cleaning it off, but as soon as I touch a red leaf, I want to make sure to clean it off so we don't muddy up the yellow ones. I like how that looks. My other idea was to keep the color palette really limited and kind of bring colors in from the background in around here. But the only problem with that is the leaves on these bits would have kind of blended in with the background a bit too much, I think. So I didn't really want to do that. If we had have done that though, I probably would have pulled darker colors in for these leaves that kind of stick out and then lighter colors in for the leaves around her. But I feel like having the bottom kind of like lighter green kind of balances it out enough for me anyways. I think since I have these colors out already anyways, it would be easiest to just kind of go in and base our mushrooms. So I'm going to grab the chili red. I'm going to keep our shadows kind of on the bottom and left side for this side, and then the bottom and right side for this side. I don't want to overpower them too much with the shadow color, so I'm going to try and be a little frugal with laying down the shadows. It's also a little bit of guesswork trying to decipher what's mushroom and what's plant. And when we also have flowers, I think those will probably keep white as well to kind of match up with the fairies and the berries. I think for the most part I want the stems to kind of match the mushrooms. Okay, I'm going to go in with the mid vermilion now. And sienna gold on any that are left. We'll probably end up missing a few, but that's okay. I'll be amazed if I manage to spot all of them out of here. I'm gonna pretend this is a mushroom. I think it might be a boulder, but I don't know. So mushroom it is. All right, I don't think I'm gonna use the poppy red on these guys. I think I'm gonna stick to the tangerine and the sherbet lemon. And I want them all to have kind of yellow to them, so I'm gonna use the tangerine as kind of like a mid color. So I'm gonna go in on all of these guys. Put a little bit of the tangerine in. Ones that I've based yellow, I'm just kind of going over the yellow part and bringing it out just a little bit. All right, and then we can go in with the sherbet lemon. I'm just going to color in whatever's left of them with this. Now that I'm thinking about it, of course, now that I've already started coloring it, blue would have actually been really cool too, like kind of like icy mushrooms, icy colored leaves. Those would have looked pretty. but I think this is gonna look good too, hopefully. Okay, I think we got a decent base of the yellow on there. I think that's all the mushrooms. So let's kind of start going in on the leaves. I'm gonna find that brown that I had, saddle brown. All right, this one, I think I'm gonna kind of keep it like stuff to the shadows maybe. Like anything in a deeper shadow, I think, and anything that I've gone over a lot with the watercolors, I'm gonna use this to kind of hide it. It'll still be slightly noticeable on some of them, and that's totally fine. I think it'll be very less noticeable, I guess is the word I'm looking for, once everything's colored. And I do have my piece of paper in behind here. I forgot to mention that in the beginning, but that's always good to have. I forgot about this mushroom. I'm gonna grab the sugar lemon. Just add a little bit more to that. I don't know if I totally forgot about it, or actually maybe this one too. It just doesn't look like I've added any to it, so I'm just gonna go over it a little bit more to make it more noticeable. Okay, which greens do we want to bring in? I think I want to keep this really light. I'm not sure which greens. So we've got the iron green. This would be a good shadow green, so let's use this, the iron green. I'm going to bring this in to add some shadows, probably closer to the bottoms where they come out from behind stuff, and then we'll keep the tips a little bit lighter. Kind of go over the saddle brown in some places. Just want to double check I did push this up right. Good, good, thank goodness. I would be a little bit sad if I had forgotten. I think I'm maybe just going to put my paper sideways here. Just because my paper is regular paper size, so it doesn't quite fit all the way to the edges. Okay, what else do we have for greens here? We've got the Ionian green. I don't think I'm going to use that one. Oh, so that one doesn't go over there. Put that one up here. Got the Hooker's green. I do like this one. Let's use this over some of the brown spots, I think. And again, I'm just kind of throwing these colors in randomly. I know they'll all mix kind of well together. And I just kind of want to make it look really natural and kind of have everything look kind of multicolored almost. I think for the most part, everything over here has a shadow, or like shadow colors, darker colors in it. So just pop this over anything over here that doesn't, I think. Maybe add to some of the pre-existing ones. All right, we've got our baked earth, which I don't think we're gonna use. See, the mustard is more of like a yellow tone. Actually, let's use the baked earth. We're gonna use it on this goblet. So I'm just gonna use this as a shadow on this goblet here. So I'm just gonna shade the left side of it and then the inside of it with that. And then with the mustard, I'm just gonna finish coloring that in. I think that's all we'll use those. Then we have light olive. Not quite the color I'm looking for, so we're probably not going to use that one. So it's spring green and apple green. Okay, I don't think I'm going to use the spring green, but I am going to grab the fern. So we'll use the fern and the apple green, I think. Actually, fern, apple green, and felt green. Let's grab the felt green too. And then we've got 3 different lighter colors of green. I think that should be good. So I'm going to start with the fern. And I'm just going to kind of throw this in just randomly. I don't really have a rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. I'm just going to like pick out random spots to finish coloring this in with. I don't want too much of the fern because it's a little bit more of like on the yellow side. But it'll be kind of like a nice balancing color. I'm also going to use it as a shadow on these little guys here. So we'll do those really light. I think this is a flower, but I don't know about the rest of this stuff. I think these 2 are flowers, these are plants. So these 2 I'm going to color in as flowers, these 2 are flowers. I think that's probably it. Okay, we're going to go in with the felt green next. Same thing, just kind of randomly throwing this in, but I don't want a whole lot of this. I want the apple green to be the main color. I want them to be nice and light. everything else is going to be done with the apple green. So anywhere I've got white left over, I'm going to go in with the apple green and just color that in. I think that looks good. I think the bottoms and the mushrooms I'll probably leave white as well. So now we can go in and kind of start, what is the word here? Having a moment, activating these. And because there's so many and they're so all over the place, I'm gonna try to work in a methodical order. That way I don't miss any, but I probably still will. I feel like it's kind of inevitable. I think I did these ones already. Yeah, it looks like it. Trying to kind of work on the levels so I know what I still need to do. there is everything colored and activated. So I'm gonna grab my Posca pens. And I'm just gonna whiten up the berries and the fairies. My Posca pen is not the best right now. Definitely need a new one. So don't need to go over the whole fairy or anything. Just bring back some of the parts that were kind of lost by watercolor. I'm going to try my other one and see if it works better. I feel like this one's a little better. I'm gonna make her eyes white. I like that. So we're gonna add like little wispy dots around the fairies. Kind of make it look magical, as if they're like flying through the air, which they are. I go too overboard with it, but I do want to make it relatively noticeable. I kind of start more clustered around the fairy and then kind of make them grow a little bit sparser away, kind of in one direction. So this fairy looks like it's flying from this way. This one's coming up from this way. This guy, I kind of have him coming out of the grass, I think, maybe. My page is still slightly wet, so I gotta be a little bit careful. try to add some white accents to the leaves. I don't know how much my Posca pen is going to cooperate. It's not very opaque at all right now, but we can try. Definitely gonna have to try to pick one up before the next color along. Could always just use acrylic paint, but definitely not as much control with a paintbrush than with a pen. I feel like lots of white accents are very necessary on a page like this because everything is a little bit darker than I intended it to be, which is fine because we can bring it back out with the white accents. It still looks really bright and whimsical. Maybe put some spots on the mushrooms. This might look cute. I'm not being too careful at all with my Posca pen. I'm pretty much just scribbling in highlights because it kind of accentuates Kerby's work. And it just adds some kind of like whimsical element, which I really like. With this, we might not even need to go in with the Prismacolors to darken it or anything. Let it shine on this guy and just a small one down here. I think that's, oh, I'm so sorry guys, I forgot to pull it back down. I really wish that I knew how to make it so I could have a version of what my phone is seeing on like a computer screen or something, but I'm not that tech savvy. I don't even think that's possible. I think you can only do that with cameras. Anyways, these are the highlights I added. So you can go ahead and pause and try to copy them if you want to, or you can just go wild and make your own. And now I'm gonna pull it back up here and do someone the bark up here. I'm so sorry. One day I might get my shit together, but don't hold me to that. I can try, but ultimately I make no promises. I don't think I want to add too many around her face. Keep them really loose and organic. I think these are like designs on her face. I'm gonna try and like add some white to that. I like that. The highlights really bring her to life. I'm kind of obsessed with this now. It looks so much better. It definitely brightens her up quite a bit. And then I think I am gonna sparkle up the berries and the fairies so that way it doesn't look like I just forgot to color them. So that leaves the million-dollar question. Do we use a colored glitter or a clear glitter? And I'm thinking clear. I think I'll probably go with my favorite. I don't know if they're both open or which one I've been using. Are these the same? No, they're different. Ooh, this one might be pretty too, actually. Okay, I'm torn between Glisten. This one actually has a name on it, which is weird because most of the ones I have just say Ranger. So maybe that isn't the name, maybe, oh no, that should be a name because this one says Copper. So some of the ones I have actually have the names on them. Most of them just say Ranger in the top right corner like this, or top left corner, sorry, like this. So I don't know what color this one is, but I think this is the one I'm gonna go with. Because this one just might make it match the tree too much and I want to keep them separate from the tree. But you can use any color stickles that you want or any kind of glitter glue you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be stickles. And when I add stickles, I like to keep it fairly sparse. I don't put a whole bunch on them like a lot of people do. Try and keep it as flat as possible. Just because it dries faster and I kind of like the less is more look. So I'm going to do everything on the left side of the tree trunk first. And then I'll tackle stuff in kind of the center of the tree trunk. This way I'm not putting my hand in anything wet, especially stickles, because that stuff's not fun to get off. Don't forget about the little flowers down here. Can you guys see down there even? Let's push this up a little bit and then you can. All right, so we got these little flowers down here. I don't think I'm going to color in the mushroom bottoms with the stickles. I'm just going to leave those white completely. If they bother you with them being white, I would recommend coloring them maybe with like a light gray or something then. Got these couple flowers right here. And then our fairies or pixies, whatever these guys are, these little magical creatures. And with that, I think our page is done. It gives them just a little shimmer. And then they stand out really well from the background too, and that little bit of glow we have around them looks very whimsical and dreamy like. I really like that. I do wish that I would have went with like icy leaves and mushrooms just because I'm more prone to the cool tones. I don't really like warm tones. If you stuck around long enough, you know that. I don't really know why. I just usually struggle with using cool tones. That being said, I am not mad at all about how this turned out. I really love it. I just know that I would like it more if it had blue on it. But I am really happy with this. And I feel like it kind of goes well too because another reason why I did it orange, I probably would have done it orange even if I would have thought about doing it blue before I actually started coloring them. And that's because the guy on the other page, I think he's an orc. I can't quite remember this guy here. He's probably going to be orange and red. Or green, I'm not sure. But he'll probably have orange and red on him. And that'll kind of tie in with this page. I think it'll work out. I kind of like having my pages, even when they're not a double page spread, I kind of like having them kind of match and coincide with each other. It's not necessary, I'm just OCD. I like when they go together and they don't look completely separate. That's not always possible depending on the pages, but yeah. Anyways, I think this is it. Let's go ahead and zoom on out so you guys can get a full look at her. And that took us just an hour, which is awesome. I apologize for the lighting. It's not the best, but I had to get this filmed for you guys. That way I can start editing it tomorrow because I have to have it up for any of the Rainbow members by Friday. So having the memberships open has also lit a fire under my butt because I gotta make sure I have the videos done and ready to go a week before they go public. That way the Rainbow members have access to them. So needed to get this done because I was running a little bit too close for comfort. But now I should be able to at least have part 1 and the time-lapse video out for the Rainbow members on the 29th of July, which is when they get access to it, and everybody else gets access to those 2 parts on the first Friday of August. So yeah, as always, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I had so much fun with this page. If you recreate this page, I would love to see it if you'd share it with me. We do use the Dream in Color hashtag here, or sorry, Dream in Color Along hashtag here. So if you post to Instagram, make sure to use that hashtag so I can easily find your pages. You can send me your pages on Instagram, Facebook, email them to me. All of my info is down below. But yeah, I think that's it, and I'm gonna go to bed. All right, guys, as always, take care, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.